Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be part 2 for Randy Maag Volvo Penta MEFI 4. He sent his computer on September 4th to be tested because he said his injector were cutting off after 3600 RPMs or so. I did a test and I couldn't reproduce his concern, so I sent the computer back to him. After the test, I said, sorry, but probably is a problem in your boat harness or something. He was doing some tests and he damaged the computer. So he sent the computer back for me to test it and also to see if the damage was done, and it was obviously damaged. So I have contacted him and requested approval for the repairs, and now we have the computer fully operational again. So I'm going to run a test, but before we go there, I'm going to show you his folder. Okay, this is the computer connected and open, so he can see, and you guys can see the cover here with both. With both dates, 9/4 and 10/6, and this is his cover. And this is a 8.1 liter MEFI 4, 8.1 liter Gi-D MEFI 4. So this is very unique to the Volvo Pentas, that sticker. So let me get you over to the screen. All right, so I want to show you his concerns. He said, can you retest my ECM at 4,000 RPM? I'd like to see if you can get it to fall with my diagon settings at IPW as injector pulse width cut. That's all he put in there. But in our conversation, and this is what I want to show you because I don't want to leave anything hanging. Let me remove myself from there so you guys can read it as well. So the bottom part says, Mike, thank you for testing my ECM. I have reinstalled it with the following results. Engine runs perfect below 3600 RPMs, which at first was not the case. As soon as it exceeded 3600 RPMs, the injector pulse width, it cuts to 0. And I did a test, even the way the computer was, it was actually passing 4000 RPM. So I said, and I told him, the problems are not in the computer as far as that. He also said on the upper section, he said, also during my final testing, I noticed there was no firewall reference. I fear I might have damaged something while retesting the harness. And he did. So I'm going to put the link of the first part for the second visit so you can see what happened. It was no firewall reference, and the throttle position sensor pit was not updating. So no matter what I do, the computer was never changing the throttle position pit, which is the data the computer reads based on the input from the sensor. So that was very concerning because if the throttle position is not seen, the IAC valve will not adjust. And I proved that and I showed that on the video. So please watch that video if you want to know a little more about what's happened with this computer. All right, let's go back to the bench. Here I have the computer and I have two ESD modules. So we will see two coils firing in here. And I have the RES 6 connected to my auto simulator. So we will have no fault codes and everything will be running 100%. All right, so let me get to put those in the screen. So I'm going to have the picoscope and the diagram. Let me get the picoscope to select it. All right, so I have right now in the picoscope 2 channels just for the injector A, injector B bank. So those fires 4 injectors each, and we'll see the pulse width on those injectors at all RPMs during the test that I'm doing after the repairs. So let me connect to the computer. Make sure that you are seeing that. Let me make sure this pops up. And it's not. Let me put that on there. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, now you can see the selection. So I'm going to select, I'm using Diacom Rinda. This is the diagnostic software that I use here. It's Windows based. So we select MEFI 4, 1 and 4. In there, oh, I need to power the computer up. So otherwise we will have no communication, right? That's very important. Let me put that on. And we are now immediately, you see the fuel pump coming on. That's light that came on in there is for the fuel pump relay, which I have a relay in place. I just, instead of the load, the fuel pump itself, I have a test light so we can see when it's coming on and off. We select mode 1 and we connect. All right, so I'm going to show you, first of all, zero fault codes, calibration checksum, one FF7, that is exactly his. And again, we got zero fault codes. So I'm going to run the computer. Let me put the RPMs and everything. So we're running now the computer at 648 RPMs. And I'm going to try to put another pit. All right, so like that, you will see the throttle position sensor value changing as I am accelerating, because this wasn't changing with the damage that he created. So right now we're running an idle. I want to also move the camera just 1 second so you can see behind me all the rest of the coils. This is the triggers for the other 6 coils, and that's why we have no other fault. So everything is connected as it is supposed to. So I'm going to increase the RPMs. I'm going to go probably to 4,500 RPMs. I want you to see the injection changing, because obviously we're going, in a higher RPMs. We're right now 4,500 RPMs. I'm going to change the throttle. And now we can see the throttle pitch changing at 41%. That's around what they both will have. I'm going to change the manifold pressure to 21%, which is usually at that high RPM what this both will read is inches of mercury, and that will increase the injection millisecond. But we can definitely see everything working. So in the screen also have the load box. In here, the yellow, the green lights are for the injectors, and the blues are for the 2-coil drivers that I have here. The 2-coil ignition coils. And these are like real coils. So if I move these over, you can see we'll lose the red channel. That is now a coil. You can see how different that is, because it's obviously a different signal. That's a coil activation. That's like firing the coil. So everything is present and everything is working as it's supposed to. No more fault present. I'm going to move this over to the next page so we can see we got absolutely zero fault codes. So Randy, your computer is running trouble-free, all signal presence. I also want to show you, covering here now, we have the sensor ground that was damaged in the fiber reference. They're now present, completely working properly as it's supposed to. All right, so I'm going to decrease the RPMs now to idle again. And then change the throttle accordingly. You can see also the IAC moving in there. Those are the other lights now. They're flashing now. The IAC will change based on throttle position. Let me go back to the 650. That's the idle RPM that I use. And let me bring now the throttle, the manifold pressure to 12.7, which is what I use for here for my idle inches of mercury of pressure in the intake manifold. And we can see now the injection at 2.7 milliseconds. Again, all signals presence, no fault codes, everything working 100%. So Randy, this is a full repair. Now, this is not a test like before. I'm sorry you damaged your computer, but yeah, that's the problem by not being careful or not knowing what exactly you're doing. So very careful. I never do tests on sensors or anything except for, grounds and powers with the computer connected. If you're going to check the harness, you want to remove the computer and do that as a voltage drop test, end to end with a test light, so you are not going to damage anything. Yes, you can have the power on, but without the computer, you're not going to burn anything. And I usually go, let's say if I'm testing the throttle position sensor, I unplug the throttle sensor in the computer, turn the ignition on, and then I can do my wire voltage drop test. I use a test light to load the wires, so make sure they can carry amperage and is good. I wiggle test the harness now with the computer connected, because if you have a short in the harness and you start doing that with the computer connected, well, it's a very expensive use like in this time. And lucky for you, this was repairable, because these computers can go up to $4,000. So this is a component you want to be careful when you're doing tests with, because otherwise it can be no more repair. It can be completely damaged to a point that cannot be repaired. In this case, again, it was repairable, but if you keep doing tests like what you just did here, it might not be repairable no more, and that would not be covered under any warranty. Burned components, damaged components due to testings or shorted components like a sensor, an injector, a coil, a bed harness is not a fault of my repair. It's a damage on the boat that is causing more damages. And I always try to over or express that into my videos, because sometimes people think that a warranty will cover any damage that that happens in the boat and burn something. Oh yeah, send me a new computer. No, that's not how it goes with nobody. Electrical components are not covered that way. So workmanship is what I cover with my warranty, but burn components, liquid damage, of course, it's not. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. If you have any marine ECMs, MEFI 4s, absolutely any marine computers, instrument clusters, I'm your expert. I'm the best company you will be dealing with. My warranties, my services it's like second to none. There is no other company in the world that shows you what is being done, reproduce your concerns, guide you through testing you can do in the boat, and show you that your computer is now fully repaired. It does not exist. So this is where I separate my business with like the rest. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you're here in the channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.